Welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as Bunnyfish on Ravelry, Plurk, Instagram, and YouTube. Today is Monday, the 24th of March, 2014, and this is episode 71, To the Zoo. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. This week, we went to the zoo. It is not the first time my children have been to the zoo. Gabriel's been to the zoo a few times. Mara had only been to the zoo once, but the last time we went to the zoo was about 2 years ago. So we went that one night for Light Up the Zoo or whatever it's called, Festival of Lights. Um, but that was at night, and so it was a totally different experience, and it was the middle of winter, so animals were only the animal houses were open, not the animal exhibits. So it was totally different. It was a blast. More about that later. Um, I'm not feeling very awesome right now because it was 70 on Friday and then like 65 on Saturday. And yesterday morning, I woke up and it was 58 degrees in my house because my boyfriend had turned off the heat. Why? I don't. He had turned off the heat and it was 30 degrees outside. So I have this really awesome problem that I've always had since I was super little. Maybe not always, but as long as I can remember. Um, Weather change like that causes serious problems where my ears, nose, and throat connect. It gets really dry and irritated. So I'm going to try to keep this kind of short. We'll see how that goes. So if I'm talking really fast, that's why. I'll try not to, but it's really irritated. It's not painful. Well, I guess on a pain scale, it would be a 3 because it's annoying. Did you know that on the pain scale, annoying is a 3? Didn't know that until I was in labor with Mara. They were like, how bad does it hurt? I was like, it doesn't hurt. It's just annoying. So a 3. Whatever, people. Anyway, the nitty knit along. That ends a week from today. And I have a question for you. Do you want me to close the thread and draw the winner on next week's show? Or do you want me to leave it open for the entire day on Monday, um, on the 31st, and then draw on the following podcast? Do you guys want to wait that week? Like, are there people out there who are still frantically working and might need that extra day? Comment in the thread. You don't have to do it today, unless today is Sunday night, and then you should probably comment today. The 31st, if no one has said, hey, I need that extra 12 hours, I will close the thread. But if someone does, then I'll leave it open. Just want to throw that out there because if everybody's done, then why wait the extra week, you know? But if you need that time, totally cool. I'm probably not going to finish my project because I didn't work on it all week, but I'll show you because it's been, 2 weeks since you've seen it. I might have done a couple rounds. This is SKU by Louise Robert, and I'm using Nooch Fiber Morningside Sock in the colorway Stomping Grapes and Totally Goth. This is my first sock, so I don't know if, I could knock out a pair of socks in a week, especially something pretty simple, but I don't know, because there are other projects that are higher priority. These socks are for me. The other projects are not for me. So you know how it is when I start making things for myself. I'm like, oh, it's okay. Just whatever. So we'll see. So get your projects in. The tag is BPH Knitty. And let me know if I should draw next week or not. Finished objects. I have one this week. I can't remember the last time I was so pleased to have something off of the needles. I finished the Gothic Spire socks. Can't even, okay, I'm going to put this up close. You can see that I have two. So here's the patterning. And here's the full sock. This is Gothic Spire by Cookie A in Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper in Gothic Queen. The sock is beautiful. The sock's gorgeous. I love how they turned out. Totally worth the aggravation and the effort for the effect. Beautiful, right? The sock is amazing. There's another tale of woe. It's a tale of me not paying enough attention. So I started the heel flap. I think I started it either early in the morning or late at night. I think it was early in the morning. I think I got up, I was like, okay, it's time to do the heels. I did them 2 at a time, so I would work all of the knits across both heels and then all the purls across both heels. And that was fine. I did the first heel, perfect. I did the flaps together and then I did the first heel turn. It was perfect. Then I started the second heel turn and I was like, what's going on here? The size sock that I'm doing has 6 repeats around, which you work the heel over half of the sock. So 3 repeats is what I should have done. What I did was I worked the heel over 4 repeats. So I had to rip out that heel flap and do the heel turn again, or in the first place. I didn't do the heel turn in the first place. It was a quick fix. That was fine. It didn't take too long. I was a little annoyed at myself, but again, whatever. It was a quick fix. Ripped it out, redid it. I'm pleased to say that after that point, there was no mistakes. So, not that I noticed, so I hope there are no mistakes. Obviously nothing major and glaring and like, oh my gosh, look what you did there. Here are the socks. I really like the pattern. I know I've been griping about it. I really like the pattern. I think it turned out amazingly. I would just say that I don't know. I was a head case about these socks. I don't even know why. Just a little bit crazy. Don't do that to yourself. These socks are amazing. Be mindful with them. It's a pattern that becomes intuitive after the first, I would say after the first 2 repeats, it becomes intuitive. Because the first one, it's just like, whoa, what's going on? And the second one's like, oh, I can see how that works out. So by the 3rd repeat, I don't think I looked at the pattern at all. That's not true. I looked at the pattern when I got to the second part of the repeat. The repeat is kind of like 1 part smocking, 1 part not smocking. So just that transition round, I was like, I'm not exactly sure. But it became very intuitive, so that was good. It was just a matter of I was not paying enough attention. And I wouldn't say that I would knit this while trying to read something because I wouldn't. But I took it everywhere with me. Okay, I took it to hang out with my children and that was fine. Which, sometimes that's a problem for me. So the pattern is really nice. The yarn is really, really nice. I like it a super lot. Works in progress. I'm still working on the bruised fiber. That's the colorway name. It's by Stitch Punk Etsy shop. And I don't know if I've showed you the back of the card. Isn't that adorable? Look at that little spider. I think it's super adorable. So it's merino. I'm getting close, which is good because I want it finished completely by the end of the month, which is only a week away. So I have this much left to spin for the singles. And for plying, I started plying. I told you I was going to, and I did. I'm almost done with the first half. I don't know if you will remember, but when I was spinning the faux angora, which is the other fiber, so I'm plying that merino with faux angora that I got from Spartacus Dyes. When I was spinning the faux angora, I got to the halfway point and my spindle wouldn't hold anymore. With the merino singles, my spindle was only able to handle about 1/3 of the singles at a time. So I have this much of the second third to go on the singles and this much left of the first half to go on the singles. So I don't know how close they're going to be because they're spinning. I let the faux Angora kind of spin as it wanted, and the merino is for the most part even. You probably can't tell. It's awkward to try to show you. So we'll see which single I have leftovers from and how much leftovers there are. But this is how it's playing. I have to say that my favorite parts are where the pink and gray line up. It just is. That's my favorite color combination. You can see here there's like gray and pink, which is pretty as well. And up near the top, there's a dark gray that's not quite this black, almost black gray. It's not true black, but up here there's different variations of gray with the pink, and that's pretty too. But my favorite is definitely this super dark gray with the pink. I also worked on my log cabin blanket, and there is definite progress because I started a new color. I think I was on, I don't know. I can't remember where I was last week, and I could put a marker, but I won't. Hopefully that's not super annoying for you. And sorry, my yarn was caught. So I now have all 5 colors in the blanket. You can kind of see how it's going to be. Kind of. I mean, it's a little scrunched because I'm working on the straight right now. Whatever. So this center part, this is all Karen Simply Soft. The center part is Heather Gray. This is Dark Sage, Pistachio, Chocolate, and Bone is the color that I'm working on currently. I've now moved on from doing 1 row per thing checked off of my to-do list to 1/2 of a row because of it matches not quite with stitch count, but that's how I'm going to do the next 3 blocks or so. And then I'll change it up again and maybe do 1/3 of rows. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know yet. It's just so that I don't feel like I'm just knitting forever. Because the projects that I have to finish, that I have to finish by the end of the month, are all kind of, they're all stockinette. They're all going to be kind of boring compared to those Cookie A socks, which is not bad. I think that I probably need a break, especially if I'm going to be feeling like this. I worked on the Shalom cardigan, which was right here, right under the colored part. So this is the back of Mara's sweater. I separated for the sleeves. They're on random cables that I had around. It'll look kind of like that. My daughter is so little. She's huge. She's Ginormicon. It's ridiculous how big she is. Look at how little that is. Oh, so cute and little. And see, I look at things like this and I'm like, oh, she's so small. And then I look at her and I'm like, when did she get so big? It's crazy. So I'm working this on US size 6, 4.0 millimeters. And I used Lion brand Wool Ease. This is sport weight in Blueberry Twist held double, and then the main body is worsted weight in Denim Twist. This is totally finishable by the end of the month, right? It's just stockinette to the bottom and then garter, and then stockinette in the round for the sleeves that I'm going to make up on the fly. Kind of scary. I'll probably look at the sleeves for the Gramps cardigan just to kind of get an idea of how to do decreases. Even though those sleeves are worked from the bottom up instead of the top down. It should be okay. I can do math. I'm a smart cookie sometimes. Maybe not. Those Gothic Spire socks, they kind of kicked my butt a little. But I'm over halfway through the length, so that's good. Hopefully doable. The other last project that I have I started this morning, so it doesn't look like anything, and you know, I'm totally okay. Last week I was like, oh, it's so silly showing you things that I just started, or maybe that was 2 weeks ago. Who knows? I can't remember. But you know what? I'm okay with it. I am making leg warmers for my cousin's baby because I got this yarn from somebody who has sent me leftovers for my sock yarn blanket, and there was this much. I was like, that's a lot, and it's beautiful, and I really want to make something with it. This is in fact not a fingering weight. It is a sport, maybe a DK. Let's see if you can see the difference. I don't know if you can tell the difference in those. I think you can see. So it's a little thicker. That's fine. I still put a square in my blanket before I started these leg warmers because I really wanted a square in my blanket because I love this colorway. So not me. I don't think that if I saw this somewhere, I would buy it. I would be like, oh, that's so pretty, but I wouldn't buy it because it's not me. What would I wear out of it? Nothing. I'd be like, that's a lot of pink and red. But I love this colorway so much, and I've been hoarding this little half skein, not even half. It's a little less than half. I think it was like 45 grams. I assume it was out of something that was 100 grams. I don't know these things, but I would assume. And I've been hoarding it. And then I was like, it would be adorable. Baby leg warmers. So I'm kind of making up the pattern, but I'm using Baby Leggings by Ruth Bendig as a guide. That pattern calls for a fingering weight. This is not a fingering weight. Sport DK, I don't know. The pattern is free. I cut out, I think, 12 stitches from what the cast on was. I cast on my stitches and I measured how wide it was just on the cast on, and I was like, ooh, that's much bigger than what theirs should be, their measurements are. So I fudged it and I was like, hopefully that'll be good. That'll be close enough. What I'm really using the pattern for is it's knit so many inches, do a decrease, knit so many inches, do a decrease. That's what I'm using the pattern for, is for those measurements, because it's been a long time since I've had little baby legs, and I don't know how long they are. I don't think they're that long. That's probably how long Mara's legs are now. Maybe not. I have no idea how long my children's legs are now or how long they were when they were little tiny baby things, but this is written for 0 to 6 months, so I'm hoping it'll work. I believe that this is Miss Babs. I don't know, it didn't come with a tag, but I'm pretty sure that that's what I was told by Natalie, who gave it to me. I think, but it was a year ago, so maybe I'm incorrect, but it's just, oh. I'm going to have no tact when I give this to my cousin, and I'm going to be like, if you don't like it, just, my feelings won't be hurt. I would rather you say you don't like it and I'll take it back and use the yarn for something else because I love this yarn. But new baby, that's exciting. I don't know. I think it'll work out really nicely. I'm still up in the air over whether or not I want to put a pattern in it or if I just want to make it stockinette. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when I get through the ribbing at the top, which is where I am right now, but I'm only 2 rounds in, so it doesn't look like anything. And I'm working these on US size 2, 2.75 millimeters. The pattern calls for 1, but it also calls for fingering weight, so change things up. That's also why I chopped out all those stitches. Sock yarn blanket. I actually looked at my sock yarn blanket, looked at how many squares there were, so I can tell you I'm up to 520 squares. That is 67% of my squares finished. So here's what I did this week. It's a big old grouping of big old grouping of squares that were completed. And these are all Haley yarn. All those that I just showed you are Haley yarn. And then I did 2 more squares. This is the Leading Men Fiber Arts show, I can't remember. The one that I just used in Gothic Spire. I could look. It's written down. Showstopper in Gothic Queen. And then I left the space open because I'm going to use it for the showcase in Blue Steel. So you'll see that next week, but that's why that space is open. And then here's the Miss Babs. Oh, look at how pretty it is. Camera, show how pretty that is. It's not showing you how super pretty that is. I wouldn't wear it, which is the problem, but I super like it. I would make it and I'd be like, oh, I want to wear that, but no, just wouldn't. I would maybe wear it once and then it would sit there. It's super pretty. I'm hoping that when I finish the leg warmers, there will be enough for a hexapuff as well, but I don't know. I made this square because I was like, I will make the leg warmers a little bit too short so that I can have a square in my blanket. Priorities. Hexapuff would be nice, but we'll see. They're really short. It's not, baby's legs are short. The pattern says that they're supposed to be 7 inches long. So that should go pretty fast, even if I throw some design in it. I don't think I will though, because this is pretty busy on its own. Not in a bad way, just it's kind of busy. We'll see. I don't know yet. I haven't gotten there. I have an inch or more of ribbing to go. I don't know. Also, hexapuffs. I made 9 this week, which brings the total up to 77. We'll start with Haley yarns. Haley. These are also Haley yarns. This one is made up of leftovers. Not a celebratory hexapuff, just I noticed that I had several leftovers that I thought would look nice together. And it's a little bit crazy, but I still like it. So it's good crazy. And this is going to be the front side of the hexapuff because my blanket is obviously going to have a right side and a wrong side. I have the textured, the special hexapuffs, and about half of them at this point have a right side and a wrong side. So this is going to be the right side because that line goes all the way across and here it doesn't. I just like that better. So that's also Haley yarn. These 3 are yarn from Haley. And this was my celebratory hexapuff for finishing the socks. It is Leading Men Fiber Arts in Showstopper and Showcase. Colorways Blue Steel, that's the blue one, and Gothic Queen, that's the purpley, pinky, grayish one. I don't know. It's not like super gray, but it's that's what it is. So those are my hexapuffs for the week. Yay! I really like the way this one turned out. I really like the stripy ones. Random side note, I noticed on my Instagram feed that someone else started striping a lot of their mini skeins together, like their leftovers that weren't quite big enough to make hexapuffs. They started striping those to make more hexapuffs. And I was like, yes, do it, because they're so fun. Sometimes it looks like it's just one yarn and that's how it happened, and sometimes it looks like this. And you're like, ooh, that's cool. Just thoughts. I don't throw away crafting material. I really don't. I stuff my hexapuffs with stuffing from a pillow. My dog chewed a hole in a pillow, like a throw pillow that goes on the couch, and I'm going to fix the pillow, but the stuffing was there, and I haven't fixed the pillow yet. And when I fix it, I think I'm going to have to make it smaller because of how she chewed the hole in it. Because there's a decorative front panel and then just a back panel, and that's where she chewed the hole. But I think to make the throw pillow, I'm going to have to make the dimensions a little smaller, so it's not going to need all that stuffing. So I'm probably just going to get, I'm going to use different stuffing to make the pillow form. I'm going to use some batting that I have laying around that's not nice batting. Like you don't want to put it in a quilt, but it will be fine and stable, and when you fold it, it'll give the pillow nice form. That's what I use. I also put all of my ends from weaving in ends into the hexapuffs because why not? And I use the ties from hanks of yarn. You know how they're tied in like 2 to 4 places depending on who dyes it. I use those to attach them into the pods. New things. I got 2 packages in the mail this week, and that was really exciting. I won prizes from 2 different podcasts. So the first one was from the Knits and Things podcast, which I've mentioned before. I've mentioned both of them before, but go check Heather out. She's a teacher to first grade, maybe kindergarten, definitely low elementary school. And she has a son, and she's great. Anyway, check her out if you haven't. She sent me a package, and look at that stamp on the back of the package. I love it. I kept this packaging so I could show you that stamp. Also because I would probably keep the packaging and reuse it because I do that. Anyway, what I won, it was for her sweater knit along, and I won a bag, and it is from Kicks and Giggles shop, which is on Etsy, and it is this cute bag with storybook characters, and it's got the thing that slips through, and you can carry it around on a loop, which I was just talking about how much I love bags that you can carry your project around like this and still work on it. And this one is huge. I don't have a bag. I have one bag that's about this size, and it's from Knitting's My Bag, but it's a totally different shape and everything, so how exciting is that? And look at how cute. Oh, I love it. I love those characters. I love the art on the bag. The fabric is adorable. And then the inside is this reddish color. Still love it. So that was really exciting. You guys, I think that I might become a bag lady now. I don't know. I kind of been seeing all the bags on podcasts, and now I have this bag, and I'm like, maybe project bags would be really cool. Obviously they would. People love them, right? But now I'm like, maybe. We'll see. Well, I don't know. I can't promise one way or the other. Okay, so this next package is going to have crinkling. Just warning if you have earbuds that there's going to be crinkling. From the Turbo Knitter podcast, I entered in, he had a monthly thing for February, I think. I don't know. He had a monthly thing, and I won. And that was really exciting. So the prize is this Legacy lace, which is 75% washable wool, 25% nylon, and it is approximately 1,500 yards of this lace weight. Very pretty. More red than that. I don't know. Let's see. That might be as good as I'm gonna get. You know how reds are tricky. But okay, so here's the lace. Awesome, right? Perfect prize. I was so excited. But wait, there's more. So on that particular episode of the podcast, he had drawn my name, and that was exciting. No, he drew my name after. He was talking about what he was working on, and he spins as well as knits, and I believe he crochets. I don't know. It's been a little while since I've seen. It's been a little while since he's updated, so I can't remember if he crochets. But anyway, he spins, and he was talking about how he had these roll-logs and they were giving him trouble, and he wasn't sure if it was just because he's a pretty new spinner or if there was something wrong with the roll-logs, and he was just frustrated. So he said all of that, and I was like, oh, that sucks because those roll-logs are super pretty. And then he pulled my name and he was like, and if you're a spinner, Bunnyfish, would you like some fiber? And I was like, I am a spinner. I am a spinner. Me, pick me. Oh, you already did. Oh, yay. So these are my bonus prizes just for being the winner of something and having something tacked on at the end. This is the first one. Really pretty. Like, not my normal colors, but still really pretty, right? I don't know who they're from. I looked on Kenneth's stash page and he didn't have them listed. So I don't know where they came from. If you're interested, I will PM him and ask, but so pretty and shiny. I don't know what makes them up, but there's no cashmere in it because I'm not allergic to it. So there's that. Super pretty, very springy. And then these are the Rolex that I was like, because those are pretty, but they're not my colors. Are you ready? I don't know if you can handle this because I can hardly handle this. This looks like the hungry little caterpillar, right? I'm not the only person who thinks this. Josh from Sort of a Knitter saw these and he was like, it's the very hungry caterpillar. And I was like, I know! I was way too loud about it, but I was really, really excited. Look at how pretty those are. So I'm excited. I haven't spun from a Rolex before, and I am excited about spinning from this. I assume there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but I am okay with a little bit of a learning curve. I'm not afraid of having some awkward yarn at the beginning. Doesn't bother me. This week I finished Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. Very good. I liked it a lot. It was very young adult, but not in a bad way, and steampunk. By the way, I totally enjoyed the little steampunky conversation that happened this week in the thread. I hope that my explanation made sense. If not, definitely be like, can you explain this a little more in depth? Or I don't understand what you meant when you said this, or I thought that I explained it pretty well, but it maybe not. Also, if you Google steampunk, you will see some pretty cool, like if you look at the images, you'll see some pretty cool clothing inspired by that fashion. It was pretty good. It was a good book. Also, it was a good conversation. Last week's episode thread, I think, had the most comments that I've ever had on an episode. That was kind of exciting for me. It just was. It's nice having people take part in the group instead of just me being like, blah, 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 this is what I had to say for 40 minutes, and then it's just me talking for 40 minutes. I also read Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I told you I was going to read it last week, and I did. I stayed up too late last night. I think I stayed up until 3 in the morning. I don't usually stay up that late. I usually go to bed at 10. I was not in bed. I was hanging out with some friends on a BKN in a weekly chat thing, and I was hanging out with them, and then it was midnight, and I was like, I should probably try to go to sleep, but realistically, I'm going to go read my book. And so I read my book, and I finished it. I really enjoyed it. I really like to play video games. I've not played video games in 2 years, maybe, a year and a half. It's been a really long time since I've played video games, but I really enjoy video games, and I'm okay at them for how much I play. I'm good for how much I play. This is kind of the other punk genre out there, subgenre. It's kind of cyberpunk-ish, but not quite. I guess it would depend on who you're asking. So if you want to know what cyberpunk is, you can ask me that in the thread and I'll tell you. I'm not going to go into it now because I'm trying to keep it short, but I'm failing. Ready Player One is about like 50 years in the future-ish. Everybody, everybody is plugged into Oasis, which is an online gaming system. It's basically an MMO, which is a massive multiplayer online game. But it's complete immersion. It's you have a visor and gloves, and if you have the money for it, you can get like whole suits that make you feel all the things, and as much as possible, as much as the suit can simulate. Like when you get shot, it doesn't hit you like you really got shot. It's kind of like a light punch instead of a bullet, but in those suits. So anyway, everybody is, but pretty much everybody can get a visor and gloves. And the earth is like super damaged. We've screwed ourselves over. There's not a lot of fuel to drive cars and stuff. So kind of like a whatever post-apocalyptic sort of thing. Sort of a dystopian society thing, all the things that I'm really into right now. And it's the creator of Oasis dies, and he's like, I will give all of my everything to whoever can solve this puzzle in the game, this riddle that will take you on a quest. And I enjoyed it. It has a lot of 1980s references, because that is when the creator of Oasis was growing up, and he was obsessed with the time period. So that's really fun. I was just a little thing in the 80s because I was born in the 80s. So kind of remember some of those things, and I've seen some of those things since, but it was fun. It was fun to read, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't even mind. Sometimes I have a hard time reading things written by male authors, because I find, as a general thing, that male writers are much more dry than female writers. I did not have that problem with this book at all. It was great, obviously, since I stayed up way past my bedtime to finish reading it last night. Now I need to decide what book I am going to read next. If you have an opinion, you can chime in and be like, I would like to hear about X next. The choices are Beta by Rachel Cohn, Zombies vs. Unicorns, which is edited by Holly Black and someone else. I don't know who the other person is, sorry. And The Selection by Kira Cass. You might be able to chime in. I might have already started. Sometimes I take a couple days off in between books because I just need time to process. Do you have this where you need a moment to look at everything that's happened in the book, and it rearranges your brain just a little bit? Sometimes a lot of it, but sometimes just a little bit, and you need time for your brain to rearrange. So even though I'm recording this on a Monday, and it very may well not go up until tomorrow, because sometimes it goes up Monday night and sometimes it goes up Tuesday morning, you might be able to chime in, because I might not start reading a book until Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to stop talking here. I do the list at the end, and this time instead I'm going to do pictures from the zoo, because it was a beautiful day. Like, for all that matters, it was Mara's first zoo trip, and it was awesome. It was so great. I hope you made something fantastic with your sticks and string, and I will see you next week. Bye!